As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. How bad is it, Secretary Van Houten?
We're broke.
The country is broke?
There's a yellow family living in Springfield that seems to know your future better than you do, and what they've been revealing about what's coming next might keep you up at night. You see, for over 30 years, The Simpsons has been doing something that shouldn't be possible. They've been predicting the future with such scary accuracy that millions of people are now convinced the writers have some kind of supernatural power. Donald Trump becoming president, they called it 16 years early. The coronavirus pandemic, they showed it in 1993, 9/11s, even that seemed to be hidden in their episodes. And now, as we head into 2025, their predictions are getting more disturbing than ever. But before you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because trust me, you're going to want to see where this goes. Let me tell you about the man who accidentally started the most terrifying conspiracy theory in television history. Chapter 1, The Obsessed Writer, Meet Dan Graney. Back in 1999, this quiet writer for The Simpsons was sitting in a cramped writer's room in Hollywood, trying to come up with the most ridiculous joke he could think of for an upcoming episode. The episode was called Bart to the Future, and they needed a throwaway line about who had been president before Lisa Simpson took office. Graney looked around the room and thought, what's the most absurd thing we could say? And then it hit him. Donald Trump. You see, at the time, Trump was mainly known as a real estate mogul and reality TV star. Sure, he'd mentioned running for president as part of the Reform Party in 1999, but nobody took it seriously. To the writers, the idea of President Trump was so ridiculous, so impossible, that it was the perfect punchline. So they wrote the line, "We inherited quite the budget crunch from President Trump." Graney thought it was hilarious. The other writers laughed. The episode aired in 2000, and everyone forgot about it. Until November 8, 2016. That's when Donald Trump was elected the 45th President of the United States. And suddenly Dan Graney's throwaway joke became the most famous prediction in television history. But here's where it gets really weird. When Trump announced he was running again for 2024, producer Al Jean posted a screenshot from that same episode showing a poster in the background with Trump 2024 inches written on it. Coincidence? Maybe. But that was just the beginning. Chapter 2, The Chilling Pandemic. Now, if predicting Trump was strange, what happened with their pandemic prediction was downright terrifying. Picture this. It's 1993, and The Simpsons writers are working on an episode called Marge and Chains. They needed a plot device to get the story moving. So they came up with something simple, a flu outbreak that starts when a sick worker in Japan coughs into a package being shipped to Springfield. They called it the Osaka flu. Residents panic. The town goes into chaos, and Mayor Quimby tries to calm everyone down while secretly broadcasting from a beach in the Bahamas. It was supposed to be a silly cartoon joke about how politicians handle crises, but then 2020 happened. When COVID-19 spread across the world, fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. A virus that originated in Asia? Check. Mass panic and chaos? Check. Politicians making questionable decisions during the crisis? Absolutely check. The similarities were so eerie that the episode went viral during the pandemic. Millions of people shared clips online, asking the same question, how did they know? But wait, it gets worse. Chapter 3, The I'm Possible Predictions. You see, the Trump and COVID predictions might have been explained away as lucky guesses, but when you start digging into The Simpsons' track record, you realize just how deep this rabbit hole goes. In 1995, they showed people using watches that looked exactly like the Apple Watch 20 years before Apple released it. In 1998, they showed Homer writing an equation on a blackboard that predicted the mass of the Higgs boson particle 14 years before scientists confirmed it existed. In 2010, they showed a character betting that Finnish economist Bengt Holmstrom would win the Nobel Prize. He won it in 2016. In 1998, they showed a sign reading 20th Century Fox, a division of Walt Disney Company. Disney bought Fox in 2019 for $71.3 billion. They predicted faulty voting machines, horse meat in food, the NSA surveillance scandal, Lady Gaga's Super Bowl performance, and even the exact way Richard Branson would go to space. The list goes on and on. Over 30 documented predictions that came true with startling accuracy. But here's what really sent chills down people's spines. The 9/11's connection. Chapter 4, The Terrifying Coincidence. In 1997, The Simpsons aired an episode called The City of New York vs. Homer Simpson. There's a scene where Lisa holds up a magazine with a $9 next to the New York skyline, showing the Twin Towers. When you see the $9 next to the towers, it looks like 9/11. Now the writers insist this was pure coincidence. Al Jean, one of the original writers, called it so bizarre and this insane coincidence. But that didn't stop millions of people from believing it was somehow connected to the September 11th attacks. And this is where things get really disturbing, because people started looking for more hidden messages. They started freeze-framing every episode, analyzing every background detail, searching for clues about what might happen next. What they found kept them awake at night. Chapter 5. The Dark Truth. You see, here's what nobody talks about when they share those viral Simpsons predictions videos on social media. Most of them are fake. That image of Trump in a coffin that went viral during his COVID diagnosis? It was completely fake, created on 4chan. The supposed prediction of the Baltimore Bridge collapse? Fake image that can't be traced to any actual episode. The Justice for George Floyd movement never happened in the show. Matt Selman, executive producer of The Simpsons, had to speak out about this. People so desperately want to believe in the show's magic powers that they ignore that obviously fake images of the so-called predictions cannot be traced to any actual episode. But here's the really scary part. People don't care if it's fake. They want to believe so badly that The Simpsons can see the future that they'll share obvious fakes without checking. Because the real predictions were so accurate that people are convinced the writers have some kind of supernatural ability. Chapter 6. The Brilliant Explanation. So what's really going on here? Are the writers time travelers? Do they have a crystal ball hidden in their Hollywood office? The truth is both simpler and more impressive than you might think. Al Jean, who's been writing for the show since 1989, put it best: if you write 700 episodes and you don't predict anything, then you're pretty bad. If you throw enough darts, you're going to get some bullseyes. You see, The Simpsons isn't predicting the future, they're just really good at understanding the present. The writing team includes some of the smartest people in Hollywood. Many have degrees from Harvard, Yale, and other top universities. They're not just comedy writers, they're social scientists, mathematicians, and futurologists who spend their time analyzing trends and imagining where society is heading. We are sort of futurologists in that we write 10 months ahead, so we're trying to guess what is going to happen, explains writer Stephanie Gillis. When they predicted Trump's presidency, he had already been talking about running for years. When they showed the Disney-Fox merger, media consolidation was already happening everywhere. When they depicted a pandemic starting in Asia, that's exactly how every pandemic movie had portrayed it for decades. Chapter 7. The Statistical Reality. Here's the thing that might surprise you. The Simpsons only has a 1.6% success rate when it comes to predictions. That means out of the thousands of jokes they've made about the future, only a tiny fraction actually came true. But because of something called confirmation bias, we only remember the hits and forget the misses. Media scholars note that given the show's longevity and satirical nature, some apparent correspondences are statistically likely to occur. Think about it. With over 790 episodes spanning 35 years, making jokes about everything from politics to technology to pop culture, some of them were bound to accidentally come true. It's like if you made 10,000 predictions about coin flips, even if you were just guessing randomly, you'd get about 5,000 of them right, and people would think you were a psychic. But here's what makes this story really fascinating. The writers are getting better at it. Chapter 8. The future predictions. As we head into 2025, The Simpsons predictions are becoming more sophisticated. The writers are using their decades of experience to make more educated guesses about where the world is heading. They've hinted at everything from virtual reality taking over daily life to cryptocurrency replacing traditional money to artificial intelligence becoming part of everyday society. Some fans are convinced they've predicted major political upheavals, environmental disasters, and technological breakthroughs that haven't happened yet. But here's the question that should really scare you. In a world where fake predictions spread faster than real ones, where people desperately want to believe in supernatural explanations, and where social media amplifies every conspiracy theory, what happens when we start making decisions based on what we think a cartoon predicted? Because that's exactly what's happening. People are making investment choices, political decisions, and life plans based on supposed Simpsons predictions that may or may not be real. The scariest thing about The Simpsons isn't that they can see the future. It's that we've become so desperate to know what's coming next, we're willing to believe a cartoon has all the answers. And maybe that says more about us than it does about them. The real prediction The Simpsons made was about human nature itself. Our need to find patterns where none exist, our desire to believe in magic rather than logic, and our willingness to trust anyone who claims to know what's coming next. In the end, the only thing The Simpsons really predicted was our own desperation to know the future. And that might be the scariest prediction of all. Because if a cartoon can convince millions of people it has supernatural powers, what else are we willing to believe? And in a world full of real challenges that need real solutions, how much time are we wasting chasing fake prophecies instead of facing actual facts? The Simpsons may not be able to see the future, but they've definitely shown us something important about the present, and it's not pretty.